Hello friends, in this video we will deep dive into the agent loop and try to understand what are the components that make up the agent and work together. So this is the anatomy of an agent basically, and it describes some of the high level components that agent has. I will try to talk about all of these components as we go further into the videos. So starting from the LLM, which is the core and the central part of the agent. But the thing is that LLM is like a brain, as I already told you. It does all the decision making, but that decision is actually executed by the agent runtime, and this agent runtime is basically the program that we control and then that we customize as per our requirement. Like agent itself is trying to solve some specific problems, like, right? So yeah, agent runtime is our part where we define what our agent will be able to do, how it will communicate with the components. So this is the goal, the request in, like, we prompt the goal, and this is the reason part, reason, act, observe part, which goes into a loop. But when it goes into a loop, then it uses some tools, and these are the major tools that it uses, like search the web, run the code, read, write files, call API. They are just simply, as the name suggests, they do what it is suggesting, right? So it's very easy to understand. Another good component or important component is context window, which basically has all the data that is required by the LLM to make the next decision. So basically it contains the result from tools, prompts, or some other observations that it has gathered from the tools or by other means. It keeps up in the context window, so that which is readily accessible to the LLM. So there is a long-term memory component that has facts, past work, but it is outside of the window. It is not sent to LLM in every call. It is retrieved when required. And then there are system prompts, like rules, guardrails, which tool it needs to route, it can use, and when it needs to stop. So the loop is the heartbeat. Every part you just saw exists to basically serve one cycle. So in agent, you the loop, that the cycle is actually the main component, that process that drives the agent decision. So reason, decide the single next step, act, take it using a tool, observe, see what happened, and then repeat. So reason, decide, act upon it, gather the results, and then again decide, like, what is the next step, and repeat it until the goal is achieved. So reason, decide the next step, look at the goal and everything in the context, then think about what to do. The model reads the whole context. So you remember the context component that I showed in the diagram. So that context is basically storing all the small outputs that it gets from the tool, small observations, and then all of them are collectively presented to the LLM for the next step. So think out loud is what makes the next action deliberate and not a guess. So with all these information, it actually decides the next step. It doesn't make a guess. For example, uh, what is the weather in Tokyo? Reason, I don't know. I should use the search tool. So remember that weather in Tokyo is something that depends upon the current situation in Tokyo, and the model is something that is trained on data that is to some date. So it is not the current, the model that is in use by the LLM or offered. Then it is trained maybe a data that was from 3 months back, or 4 months back, maybe 6 months back. So there is a gap. You want weather in Tokyo today, but maybe the model was trained about the weather also in Tokyo, but it was from 6 or 3 months back. So what it decides, so definitely it knows that it's an old data, so it has to search. It's a new thing. So it says the reasoning says that I don't know, I should use the search tool. Now act. It has decided that it has to use search tool. Then now it's time to act, like to actually make a search. So LLM only outputs text. To act, emit a structured tool call. Still just text. So what happens is the LLM has now decided that it has to use a tool. But now to use a tool, we have this agent runtime that actually makes a call to tool and make and trigger an action, that is a search action. So surrounding program runtime agent triggers it. So the model asks, runtime does it. LLM emits, agent runtime reads it, runs the tool, and tool actually takes the action. So agent runtime is your program, and agent runtime container from the anatomy diagram. It runs the loop and operates the tools. Observe, bring the result back. So observe is like something that captures the result again back from the tool, and it try to reason about it. The tools runs the result, agent runtime captures it. The runtime appends the result into the context window also, right? So that the context window has a copy of the result, and when it asks the next question to the LLM, then it has that context, that what it received from the last of the tool's response. So tool agent runtime captures it and context window stores it. So why it is called a ReAct? It because it's a combination of reason, action. The model doesn't fire off actions, it reasons before each one and again after seeing the result. The interleaving is the whole trick. Think, act, look, think again. So you understand that this is not very complex process. From a high level, actually it makes sense. Like if we know the LLM, what it does, what are its capabilities, but we also but now we are trying to build an agent that actually does the work, and doing the work requires tools. So it is like orchestrating all these tools, and together with the brain, that's LLM, it makes out an agent. So one task, two turns around the loop goal. What is the weather in Tokyo, right? So that is the goal. Should I pack an umbrella? So user prompts this. So what happens? Reason. So I need the current weather. I will use the search tool because it needs the current weather, so it has to search. So it acts and tries to search weather in Tokyo today. Observe, it found the answer, rain, 14 degrees Celsius. Now in pass 2, it knows that it's raining. So it has decided that yes, no tool needed this time. It has decided that the answer is yes. It has found actually the answer. Now it's done. Yes, it's raining in Tokyo, so bring the umbrella. That's something that LLM easily comprehends from the result and responds back. Notice it reasoned, acted, observed, then reasoned again on what it saw and finished. So this was very simple use case, and you can see that within the two pass of the loop, we are able to get the result. So when does the loop stop? Normally the model decides, goal is met, returns the final answer, safety net is reached, you set a limit. Maybe it's responding, but it's responding that is not making any sense, or it doesn't have data, it could not found anything from the search tool. Maybe it will decide something else. Maybe there will be 4 or 5 or more pass, but still there is no action. So maybe it will quit depending upon our safety net configuration. So every agent needs both a way to finish and a way to stop. So the loop in one breath, the loop is the heartbeat, reason, act, observe, repeat. The model emits text only, react is the core, and it ends deliberately when the goal is met. So in the next video I will try to cover how an agent actually acts and how it knows what it can call. Thank you.